do a reading from Genesis. Do chapter 7 and chapters 8. But just before that, I'm going to do like a little recap of what I had done in my last stream, just from chapter 5 of Genesis. The reason why I'm doing this is because I missed something. Didn't miss it in the sense that it just requires further explanation. Explanation in the sense that how to get an explanation from the actual Bible itself, because this Bible that I do have, the ESV, it kind of cross-references other verses. And when I read that verse out on, I think it was on Thursday, I didn't really understand it. It didn't make sense to me. But then I realized that I should have cross-referenced it and done that online. So that's what I'm going to do. And I also wanted to show you my resources, the resources that I use, just to sort of cover that base, because I always believe that it's great to have a online version of the Bible, or the Bible as an app on your phone or on your desktop or on your tablet. But I also believe it's good to have a paper version as well, mainly being because it allows us to, just in case we haven't got the backup of the, because I tend to see the electronic versions as a backup to the paper version. I'll tell you soon why I like to have a paper version, because I've read one time it just got funny with my electronic version of an app that I was using of the it was a Bible app. So Genesis is a book that is worth understanding, because as the name entails, Genesis, it's taking us right back to the beginning, how it all started. Okay. And why we're here and what happened to bring us here. And that story is in Adam and Eve. So once we kind of understand that, we can kind of, and how God created the world, what he created, and how long it took him. Okay, so we can sort of theorize that God had an intention for creating man. Okay, there was an intention, and because man fell in Eve, he sinned and was driven out from the Garden of England. That intention that the Lord had was not fulfilled, and man has been living life right up until present day based on Adam and Eve being disobedient and not obeying the Lord's word, and listening to Satan and eating from the tree of knowledge. Okay, so that's the situation that we're in now. So it can also be safe to surmise that we are not living the existence we were supposed to be living based on the Lord's intention, because when we look at the world as it is now and as it always has been, because we were told that Cain killed his brother Abel, that was right at the beginning. And we're also told that Lamech, who was Adam's great-grandson, I stand corrected there, and he does tell his wives, I'll show it here because we didn't go through that here. Lamech does tell his wives, here we go, he says, let me just line this up for you. He says, Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, hear my voice. You wives of Lamech, listen to what I say. I have killed a man for wounding me, a young man for striking me. If Cain's revenge is sevenfold, then Lamech's is 70-fold. So when we just read this these verses, it tells us that Lamech was just murdered those guys for for no real serious reason. It just thought, well, I'm going to take your life. And I'll have to check, but Lamech was Cain's grandson. So when we go back, it seems that this kind of behavior has been persistent in man right from the beginning. Not from the beginning, right from the time that man sinned, disobeyed the Lord, and got driven out of the Garden of Eden. Right from that point, Adam and Eve's children have been killing themselves, committing immoral acts, talking to God in ways that I don't understand, because they know that the Lord can see everything that they do. The Lord used to communicate with them face to face. Adam and Eve, he did that. And with Cain and Abel, he was speaking to them because they were presenting the Lord with their offerings. So it just, and then, Cain said, when the Lord asked him, where's your brother Abel? And Cain said, I'm not my brother's keeper. I don't know where he is. But Cain knew that the Lord knew what he had done. Right? But he just said, well, I don't know where he is. What are you asking me for? It's like, you talk to God like that? You know what I mean? So these things, it's like the influence of Satan, the devil, has been profound from that point right up until this day. And I also have a feeling that when the serpent, Satan, tempted Eve, he knew that if they listened to him and heeded his advice, i.e. to eat the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, I believe he knew what the Lord would do and that they would be driven out from the garden, because the Lord said we have to send Adam and Eve out of the garden because they could eat from the tree of life. And if they'd done that, they'd be immortal. And presumably their children would also be immortal. And you'll have, as I said on my first reading, that you'll have little Satans running around on earth, knowledge of good and evil, and choosing to do evil. Okay, because Satan had knowledge of good and evil. He is an angel of God, and he was quite a high-ranking angel, but he chose to rebel against God and wanted to be worshipped as God and take the Lord's place. So I assume that he felt, well, I'm going to rebel and suppress the Lord, take over his role, because the Lord is obviously immortal, just as the angels are immortal. So what would he have done? I don't know what his plans were, but he would have taken over and then started running things and being worshipped. That's what he wanted to do. So let's assume that he knew what the consequences of Adam and Eve being disobedient and disobeying God was by eating from the fruit of knowledge. Their eyes instantly opened up, and who knows what they started doing immediately after that. Well, the first thing that they noticed was that they were naked, and they sought to cover themselves and hide their nakedness when the Lord came to visit them. Okay, so Satan knew that the Lord would drive them out and that they would eventually, worship him. So he knew right from the beginning. He knew what he was doing, because there must have been a reason why he wanted to convince Eve. He chose Eve, didn't choose Adam, he chose Eve. Why he wanted to convince her to eat from the tree of knowledge. And once she ate from that tree of knowledge, she now became aware of things that she wasn't aware of before. Remember, it's a tree of knowledge of good and of evil. So she was in a position to convince Adam, and as I said, he made a mistake. He should have taken control of the situation, because Eve was created to be his helper and he was her master. So he should have taken control of the situation, but he didn't, and he ate from the fruit as well. So, they were deceived, because Satan said to Eve, "You will not surely die. Don't believe that." And she didn't die instantly, but she died eventually, and so did Adam. Yes, Adam lived for 800 or 900 years, but he died. Okay, so that was the lie from Satan that he told to Eve. And I read somewhere that some chap was saying, I'm not even going to bother talking about that, because I don't want to comment on what other people have said. Let's just take this original route. Let's take our route. Let's follow things like that. So one has to be very careful, because let's say, and I do believe it is, that Eve had the lust for that fruit. Okay, she was lusting for it because it looked beautiful. She was told that you won't die, you'll be like God. And that was another lie. She didn't become like God. Okay, so she was impressed by what she was being told. So in our lives, we have to be careful, because all that glitters is not gold. We have to be circumspect and discerning in the decisions that we make. So if something doesn't feel good, if you're not sure about it, don't do it. Don't be attracted to it. Think about the word of the Lord. Try to think of a verse or one of the Lord's commandments that can reference you to what you're being tempted to do. Okay, and if you're unsure, the best thing is to don't commit that act at all. Okay, but what I found is that there's always something, there's always a verse, there's always a commandment, there's always a statement that tells us what we should be doing. Okay, that would negate that lustful thought. It's a bit like when, if you're not married and you've met somebody and the next step is to make love to them. But what does the Bible tell us? I know the Bible says do not commit adultery. Okay, but if you're not married and she's not married, well, there's no adultery taking place. But we are further told in the Bible that we should what? Flee fornication. Okay, so that cannot be misinterpreted. There's no two ways about it. It says flee fornication. And it says when you are married, do not commit adultery. So it's quite clear that if you want to make love, you have to get married. And while you're in that marriage, don't commit adultery. And we are told by Jesus that the only reason that one can get divorced is if one of the parties commit adultery. So that's how high up, that's the that the sex act is. So it's something that should be treasured, something that should be done between people brought together by the Lord, under the Lord's guidance. You see, so I know like in current times, these things have been normalized. We've all grown up in it. We've all gotten caught up in it. But as we grow and as we become older, we become more aware so that we kind of run out of excuses. And just like in the beginning, when the Lord created Eve for Adam, we are told, and I will hope if I can find it, but I'll just paraphrase it. He said, from this point on, a man will leave his parents' house to be with his wife. Okay, we're told that right in the first chapter of Genesis, right after the Lord created Eve from the rib of Adam. So man and woman are one under the guise of the Lord. And to keep that union holy, we should follow the guidance that the Lord has given us to keep it holy. And throughout that period, Satan will be tempting us. To have sex. But you need to fight those lustful thoughts. You need to fight that temptation. And it all goes right back to the beginning of Genesis, when Satan lied to Eve. He deceived her for his own benefit, to get one up on God. Because God created us in his image. We are in the image of God. So he loves us because we are his creation. And he had plans for us that Satan got in the middle of. And Satan continues to deceive us in the same way he deceived Eve. So we have to break that link, because the Lord gave us dominance over everything on earth, everything. And Satan is no longer in heaven. He's here with us. So indirectly, we have dominance over him. We don't need to be afraid of him. But in order to not be afraid of him, we need to invite the Lord into our lives, genuinely, and be baptized in the Holy Spirit. That's where we want to go, because we want to move out of the darkness that we're in, that we are surrounded by, and move into the light. We want to knock on that door, and the Lord will open that door for us, and we will walk right into his arms. That's the most important thing, and that's what I really want my listeners, my community, everybody to understand. Because this thing started right from the beginning with Adam and Eve, and we need to break that chain. We need to get out of the confusion, of the darkness that we are surrounded by Satan, by his deception, by his lies, and by his followers. Because he is the God of the air. He's the sort of like, I'll use the word God loosely, referring to him, but he is the God of the air. And what happens with the air? The air is what we breathe in. Meaning what? He controls everything. Okay, so we need to bask or start to bask in the light, because he is darkness and he boasts about it. So be discerning, be circumspect. We're going to go through the commandments. Know your Bible. So when you feel the need, you know the verse, you know the commandment, you know the edict, you know the laws that can guide you, so you do not get deceived the way that Eve was, because she was lied to, and Satan lies to us every single minute of every day. Okay, so know the commandments, obey them. It's important. The Bible's like a workbook. It tells the Lord's children how to live their lives, because it's like everything is known. So the issues that we may have, the Bible talks about them. You just need to be able to interpret it and understand it. And like I said, always veer on the side of caution. If something does not feel right, if the temptation is there, if you're getting these lustful thoughts, pray, resist. Okay, right, let's step into Genesis chapter 7, because there's so much. Like I said, we cannot brush over Genesis. It tells us so much. The beginning of man, how we got to where we are, and it got to the stage where we're going to read about this now, where the Lord said, I've had enough. I'm going to destroy the earth. I regret creating man. And he told Noah to build the ark. So let's kind of move on to, because I stopped at chapter 7. So let's start rolling with this, and let's see what we're being told here. Right, then the Lord said to Noah, go into the ark, you and all your household, for I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. Take with you 7 pairs of all clean animals, the male and his mate, and a pair of animals that are not clean. The male and his mate, and 7 pairs of birds of the heavens also, male and female, to keep their offspring alive on the face of the earth. For in 7 days I will send rain on the earth, 40 days and 40 nights, and every living thing that I have made I will blot out from the face of the ground. And Noah did all that the Lord had commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood of the waters came upon the earth, and Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him went into the ark to escape the waters of the flood, of clean animals and of animals that are not clean, and of birds and of everything that creeps on the ground. 2 and 2 male and female went into the ark with Noah, as God had commanded Noah, and after 7 days the waters of the floods came upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month, on that day, all the fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the windows of the heavens were opened, and the rain fell upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On the very same day, Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, Japheth. So I just noticed my recorder was turned off there. Bear with me while I just switch it on. Yeah, you don't need to see me sorting this out. Oh gosh. Right, here we go. Right, sorry about that. Yeah, I've got this recorder that I just like to record the sound of my voice, and I made a mistake there. The battery ran out. Okie dokie. Now where was I? Let's start from verse 11. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, on the 17th day of the month, on that day all the fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the windows of the heavens were opened, and the rain fell upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On that very same day, Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Noah's wife and the 3 wives of his sons, with them entered the ark. They and every beast according to its kind, and all livestock according to their kind, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth according to its kind, and every bird according to its kind, every winged creature. They went into the ark with Noah, 2 and 2 of all flesh in every which of all flesh in every 2 and 2 of all flesh in which there was the breath of life, and those that entered, male and female, of all flesh went in as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. The Lord continued 40 days on the earth. The waters increased and bore up the ark, and it rose high above the earth. The waters prevailed and increased greatly on the earth. And the ark floated on the face of the waters, and the waters prevailed so mightily on the earth that all the high mountains under the whole heaven were covered. The waters prevailed above the mountains, covering them 15 cubits deep, and all flesh died that moved on the earth, birds, livestock, beasts, all swarming creatures that swarm on the earth, and all mankind. Everything on the dry land, in whose nostrils was the breath of life, died. He blotted out every living thing that was on the face of the ground, man and animals and creeping things, and birds of the heavens. They were blotted out from the earth. Only Noah was left, and those who were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed on the earth 150 days. Wow. Chapter 8. But God remembered Noah and all the beasts and all the livestock that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind blow over the earth, and the waters subsided. The fountains of the deep and the windows of the heavens were closed. The rain from the heavens was restrained, and the waters receded from the earth continually. At the end of the month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat, and the waters continued to abate until the 10th month. In the 10th month, of the first day of the month, the tops of the mountains were seen. At the end of 40 days, Noah opened the window of the ark that he had made and sent forth a raven. It went to and fro until the waters were dried up upon the earth. Then he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters had subsided from the face of the ground. But the dove found no place to set her foot, and she returned to him to the ark, for the waters were still on the face of the whole earth. So he put out his hand and took her and brought her into the ark with him. He waited another 7 days, and again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came back to him in the evening, and behold, in her mouth was a freshly plucked olive leaf. So Noah knew that the waters had subsided from the earth. Then he waited another 7 days and sent forth the dove, and she did not return to him any more. In the 601st year of the first month, the first day of the month, the waters were dried from the earth. Let's just go back here. In the 601st year, in the first month and the first day of the month. What does that mean, 601st year? Let me just go down to 13. I'm going to have to check what that 601st year means. Oh, you can't even see it, can you? There you go. There you go. That's it. Yeah. Right. In the 601st year. I don't know what that means. 601st year of, from what time? The time of the flood? Noah's life? How old was Noah when he went into the ark? Let me see. We are told, aren't we? Look at it here. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month of the 17th, on the 17th day of the month, on that day all the fountains of the great deep burst forth. I know some of you must have been concentrating there, so you knew what the 601st year meant. So that means they were like in the flood for like a year. Okay, so that's why sometimes it's kind of important to go back so that we understand. I've read this before, and I've said this, I haven't said it here yet, but the Bible is a book where it's unlike any book that I've ever read. And every time I read it, I discover something new. I have it's like I've been energized. It's like I've eaten food, and I've read books through just reading. But I used to read a lot when I was young, novels, fiction, all that kind of stuff. Loved it all. And read academic books as well. But nothing's like reading the Bible. It's and understanding it. Because even when you read it again, it's like you're learning something new. You're being fed information. You're being fed the story. You're being told how to live your life. You're being given directions. You're understanding where you are. You know that the Lord has blessed you. You know that you are made in the image of the Lord, and you know that the Lord loves you. Okay, and there's a reason why we're in the scenario where we are now. The Bible explains that in Genesis, and we've read it. Okay, so it's good to sort of understand. You might have to go back. I missed that point, but now I know where I am. In the 600th year and first year, in the first month, the first day of the month, the waters were dried from off the earth, and Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. In the second month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth had dried out. Then God said to Noah, "Go out from the ark, you and your wife and your sons wives with you. Bring out with you every living thing that is with you of the flesh, birds and animals, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, that they may swarm on the earth and be fruitful and multiply on the earth." So Noah went out, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping thing, and every bird, everything that moves on the earth, went out by families from the ark. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and took some of every clean animal and some of every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And when the Lord smelled pleasing aroma, the Lord said in his heart, "I will never again curse the ground because of man, for the intention of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I ever strike down every living creature as I have done. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease." Now, let me read this again. It's very important. This is God's covenant with Noah. And by making that covenant with Noah, he's also made it with his chosen. So this is information. This is information. Okay? Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and took some of every clean animal and some of every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And when the Lord smelled the pleasing aroma, the Lord said in his heart, "I will never again curse the ground because of man, for the intention of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I ever again strike down every living creature as I have done. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. Why I had to read that again? Because I've only, this is what I just said. I've only just realized from my perspective what the implications of what the Lord has said there. And what we're being told about, like, climate change, World War III, a nuclear winter. You know, there'll be darkness because the sun cannot, we won't be receiving the sun's sunlight because the nuclear weapons would have brought up all the dust and debris, and they'd be like, you know, darkness on the earth for days, and crops won't grow, and we're told that certain people are building bunkers, getting ready. Well, we don't know what they're getting ready for. I don't know. But the Lord has said here that day and night shall not cease, summer and winter, cold and heat, while the earth remains. So I'm going to take that to mean those things that we're being told aren't true. They're just making us to be afraid, because the Lord has said it here. I'm not making this up. You know, I'm not making it up. It's written. It's written here. The Lord says, I will never again curse the ground because of man, for the intention of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I ever strike down every living creature as I have done. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. That's quite clear to me. So I'm just saying, all those things we've heard about climate change, nuclear winters, the ice age coming again, I don't believe it because of what I've just read. That's a power of the Lord's word. It's not in man's power to destroy earth. Only God can do that. And God has said, while the earth remains, all these things shall not cease. So, you know, it's about knowledge. It's about belief. It's about having faith. Okay, I've only just read this and I've just realized it now. I've read it before, more than once, but I've only just read it now and it's clicked. So that's, as I just said, that's the power of the Lord's word. You know? So, is it just 49 minutes that we've been talking? Why don't we just go for the hour, eh? Oh, I've got one viewer on Twitch. Oh, that's so fantastic. I just, you know, it's so good to have somebody listening live. You know, and that's for you, viewer. So nice that you have joined me. Oops, excuse me. It's really good that you're here with me. I really appreciate your presence. So that is the, isn't that amazing? Wow. Why do we keep hearing these stories? About the sun being blotted out and nuclear winters and nuclear bombs, and no one's going to be here anymore because Russia and the United States and whoever else are going to start chucking nuclear bombs at each other. Really? Did they really say that? Well, I heard it on one of these channels today, but you know, man says a lot of things, so who knows what's true and who knows what's lies these days. Why don't we let's go to chapter 9. think that should be something cool, don't you? And God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. For the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth and upon every bird of the heavens, upon everything that creeps on the ground and all the fish of the sea. Into your hand they are delivered. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. And as I gave you the green plants, I give you everything, but you shall not eat flesh that with its life, that is its blood. And for your lifeblood I will require a reckoning. From every beast I will require it, and from man, from his fellow man I will require a reckoning for the life of man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. For God made man in his own image. And you be fruitful and multiply, increase greatly on the earth and multiply it. Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, behold, I shall establish my covenant with you and your offspring after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the livestock, and every beast of the earth with you, as many as came out of the ark, it is for every beast of the earth. I establish my covenant with you, that never again, let me get this straight for you guys. Sorry about that. Behold, I establish my covenant with you and your offspring after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the livestock, and every beast of the earth with you, as many as came out of the ark, it is for every beast of the earth. I establish my covenant with you, that never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood, and never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, this is the sign of a covenant that I make between me and you in every living creature that is with you. For all future generations I have set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth, and the bow is seen in the clouds, I will remember my covenant that is between me and you and every living creature of the flesh, and the waters shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. When the bow is in the clouds, I will set it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. God said to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant that I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth. The sons of Noah who went forth from the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and from these the people of the whole earth were dispersed. Noah began to be a man of the soil, and he planted a vineyard. He drank of the wine and became drunk and lay uncovered in his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. Then Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both their shoulders, and walked backward and covered the nakedness of their father. Their faces were turned backward, and they did not see their father's nakedness. When Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his youngest son had done to him, he said, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be to his brothers." He also said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant." And after the flood, Noah lived 350 years. All the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. Wow. He was very upset with Ham, and he put a curse on his son Canaan. So, I have read about this before, and I wondered what did Ham do? Well, he saw his father's nakedness, didn't he? And the other brothers didn't, because they went backwards. One learning point here is to drink, but try your best not to get drunk. Because, we're told, because we will come to the story of Lot and his daughters. And in this instance of drunkenness, Noah slept naked, and obviously that wasn't what he normally did, because it's something that was highlighted here. And when his son Ham saw his nakedness, that was like something major that Noah did not like. And as a result, he cursed Ham's son Canaan. So for me, in my life in present day, is to not get drunk. And if you do get drunk, make sure you're in your own house and in your bed. That's where you're going. Don't drink and drive. Don't get drunk in the clubs. Don't get drunk and then drive. Because you're not in control, are you? And it's with alcohol that we get influenced by the alcohol, and we can do things we either don't remember, like Lot having sex with his daughters, and like Noah sleeping naked. Okay, so these are the things that I pick up from the story of Noah. That get drunk, drink, but have some self-control. Don't let the alcohol influence you that you don't know what you're doing, because it's through alcohol that we start to slip. So that's why, when we go out to nightclubs, when you go out with your friends to a pub, to a wine bar, alcohol kind of loosens up people and they start talking. They could start flirting. They could do things that they embarrass themselves with. They could get sick in the streets, in cars, all that kind of stuff just through alcohol. So learning point, just drink in moderation, take things easy, have some self-control. It's the most important thing. Self-control is very, 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 very important. The Bible talks about it a lot, especially in the New Testament. It's mentioned various times, and we are warned that if you don't have self-control, that in itself is a bad thing. Okay, so I really hope I've really enjoyed this session. It's been so much fun. I never knew that I would go to these depths, but it's been great. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. It's funny because before this session started, I thought, oh, come on, just go and relax, take it easy, da-di-da. But I'm so happy to be joined by viewers, and for those of you who's going to view the stream later, hope you enjoy it. If you've got any questions, please do ask, and I will answer them for you. So why don't we just pray? The Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thine kingdom come. Thine will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. That's great. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to our next stream together. Take care now, and have a lovely rest of the day.